A big possible spoiler on a star that could be appearing at Forbidden Door and could be the rumored tag team partner for Sting and Darby Allin this Sunday at the AEW and New Japan crossover pay-per-view. Bryan Danielson could be getting a different presentation this Sunday too. We'll let you know what that is. Kevin Kelly could be missing several upcoming AEW Collision shows due to his commitments for the G1 Climax for New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll let you know what dates he's expected to miss. Johnny TV made his return to AEW last night on Rampage, and we'll let you know a bit more about his deal with All Elite Wrestling, an update on Saraya and her return to AEW TV soon, also an update on AEW Grand Slam, and if AEW's already booked the building for the event later on this year. Rusev has addressed the rumours surrounding him having difficulty obtaining a visa, and Tony Khan reveals he asked an AI to try and write an episode of AEW Dynamite. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling. Let's start off talking about Forbidden Door, of course, that being tomorrow night, live from Canada, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And while the likes of Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay will be competing in marquee matches on June 25th, one top star in New Japan Pro Wrestling who hasn't been announced for the show is, and I guess spoilers ahead, I'm going to say spoilers ahead because he could very well be announced tonight live on AEW Collision. So I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can skip ahead to later on the video. One star who hasn't been announced for the show is Tetsuya Naito. Now, AEW has potentially revealed that he'll be in Toronto this weekend through shop.aew.com. Ahead of Saturday, and that being tonight's edition of Collision, AEW has been advertising a meet and greet featuring some notable New Japan Pro Wrestling stars. Previously advertised for the session were Hiroshi Tanahashi, Minoru Suzuki, Tomohiro Ishii, and the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sanada. Tickets went on sale earlier today, and fans noticed an interesting change to the lineup on AEWLiveMerch.com. On the ticket page for the meet and greet, Tanahashi was swapped out for Naito, which can be viewed, or was at least previously being able to be viewed on the page. The listing indicates that Naito will be in the building for Collision, and it's fueled speculation that he will be making an appearance at Sunday's pay-per-view. Many are predicting him to be revealed as the tag team partner for Sting and Darby Allin, of course that being a mystery tag team partner, with the duo set to team with a mystery competitor to face off against Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara at Forbidden Door tomorrow in Toronto. Now, there's been a bit of an update and a development for this as well. This possible spoiler, as I mentioned, came from the scheduled Forbidden Door meet and greet at tonight's Collision tapings in Toronto with several top New Japan stars. As I mentioned, among the New Japan stars listed was Tetsuya Naito, who has not been currently announced for the show, though he's being heavily speculated as the person who will be revealed as Darby Allin and Sting's tag team partner. However, there has now been an update on the situation with Naito's advertised meet and greet now being pulled, with him being replaced by Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi was originally advertised for the meet and greet, so it's not known if naming him was simply an error or if he's going to even be present at Forbidden Door after all. There is reportedly set to be at least one change made to the card for Forbidden Door. Dave Meltzer said, quote, AEW briefly advertised Naito for a meet and greet and then removed the advertising, so I guess the question is, was this just a genuine mistake by AEW and he's not actually going to be on the show and he's not going to be at Forbidden Door, he's not going to be at Collision tonight, or is it a case of them accidentally jumping the gun and revealing that he indeed is going to be the tag team partner for Sting and Darby Allin to face off against Jericho, Guevara and Suzuki this Sunday? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, Bryan Danielson, could he be getting the theme song in AEW that we've been waiting for ever since he made his All Elite Wrestling debut? Well, a huge update has emerged on the rights to the previous theme music of a popular AEW star, potentially opening the door for a highly anticipated presentation return. Following reports that Bryan Danielson was going to join AEW in 2021, it was heavily speculated that he'd debut using Europe's The Final Countdown as his entrance theme. Of course, this ultimately didn't happen, with Danielson showing up in the closing moments of All Out in 2021 with a remix version of Rise of the Valkyries. Danielson reportedly didn't use Final Countdown as a theme in AEW because it would have been too expensive to use as often as Danielson planned to appear. In a 2021 interview, Danielson stated that AEW would have had to have paid a six-figure sum to be able to play Final Countdown just 20 times a year. But it has now been reported that Primary Wave Music has reached an agreement to acquire a portion of Joey Tempest's music catalogue, including the Final Countdown. Because of this, it has been heavily speculated that AEW will now use the song for Danielson's big entrances, with the hopes that Primary Wave Music won't charge AEW as much to use the music. Some have predicted that Danielson could enter to the Final Countdown at Forbidden Door as quickly as tomorrow night in Toronto with his main event match against Kazuchika Okada. As I mentioned, at Forbidden Door, Bryan Danielson will face off against New Japan Pro Wrestling star Kazuchika Okada in a dream match main event, although it has been recently reported that while Bryan Danielson has been working while banged up recently, which is why he's had a much lighter in-ring schedule as of late, only really working Revolution, the pay-per-view, and then Double or Nothing as well. So, certainly, could we see the Final Countdown return for Bryan Danielson tomorrow? It certainly would be fantastic if indeed that happens. So let me know if you're excited to see that, hear that, and if you believe actually it could happen. Now, tonight marks the second episode of AEW Collision on TNT. Now, Kevin Kelly is expected to be there this evening, but he is going to be missing some episodes of the show moving forward. The commentary duo of Nigel McGuinness and Kevin Kelly was among the many bright spots of the premiere episode of AEW Collision. In fact, even the likes of harsh AEW critic Eric Bischoff, who has routinely criticized Tony Khan's promotion, praised AEW for putting together the team of McGuinness and Kelly. Unfortunately, Bischoff and others who enjoyed AEW's new broadcast team won't get to hear the duo through the entirety of the summer. According to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Kelly will miss at least a month of Collision tapings, as he's already committed to being in Japan for the entire G1 Climax tournament, which will take place from July 15 until August 13. The report suggested that Kelly is expected to rejoin McGuinness after the New Japan tournament, seeing as he's not due to be in Japan until October for the King of Pro Wrestling show. According to Dave Meltzer, Kelly is also scheduled to work other New Japan shows in September and the year-ending tag team tournament, but those duties will be performed from a remote location, meaning he could still travel with the AEW crew to fulfill his Collision assignments. It's unknown which announcer will substitute for Kelly during his time away, but the name of Ring of Honor announcer Ian Riccoboni has been floated as a possibility. Riccoboni typically pulls double duty for both Ring of Honor and New Japan, calling the action for New Japan Strong shows in the United States, besides doing the same for Ring of Honor Club on a weekly basis. Meltzer concluded that the status of Kelly as a member of AEW's announced team in 2024 has yet to be determined. Tonight's Forbidden Door go-home episode of Collision will emanate from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The show will be headlined by a multi-man match pitting CMFTR and Ricky Starks against Bullet Club Gold and The Guns. So there's a bit of an update as to how many shows and when Kevin Kelly is expected to miss those shows this summer. Johnny TV, Johnny Impact, Johnny Elite, John Morrison, whatever you want to call him, is in AEW. John Hennigan, formerly WWE's John Morrison, is ready for a new name. Fightful Select is reporting that he has signed with AEW and internally has been referred to as Johnny Television or simply Johnny TV. We saw this last night when he made his debut or return, whatever you want to call it, on AEW Rampage, being aligned with QTV in a segment with the Acclaimed as well. So a bit of an update when it comes to that. Hennigan first competed for Tony Khan's promotion in the past as Johnny Elite, making his first appearance last year during a May episode of Dynamite, only to lose to Samoa Joe in the first round of the Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament. He didn't sign a contract with the company at the time, but did make two more appearances. He defeated Mark Quinn on an episode of Dark, before losing to Miro on an episode of Dynamite. Hennigan's wife, Taya Valkyrie, also wrestles for AEW. She's coming off a loss to Chris Statlander in a match for the TBS Championship this past Wednesday on Dynamite. In fact, 3 of her 9 matches with the company have seen Valkyrie compete for the TBS title. She's lost on all 3 occasions, twice to Jade Cargill and now 1 to Statlander. It is expected, as I mentioned, that Hennigan has signed a contract with AEW. As of right now, at the time of recording, he hasn't got the Is All Elite graphic, but that could be coming very, very soon. A bit of an update on Saraya as well. We haven't seen her for a few weeks on AEW TV. According to Sean Rossap of Fightful Select, Saraya hasn't been seen on AEW television in a while, but Fightful reported that she'd be back with AEW imminently. Fightful Select are reporting that they have learned that Saraya was backstage at the June 21st AEW Dynamite tapings in Chicago and will likely be returning to programming soon. Fightful have been told that she was briefly sidelined for undisclosed reasons, but they weren't serious and it isn't a long-term injury or anything of that nature. The 30-year-old Saraya has already wrestled 7 matches since returning to AEW in-ring action last November, averaging about 1 a month. This equals the 7 she had upon her 2017 return to the ring before her unfortunate, at the time, career-ending injury. So Saraya is set to be back very, very soon on AEW TV, maybe as soon as tonight on TNT for the latest episode of Collision. Now, a bit of an update when it comes to Grand Slam, of course, taking place at Arthur Ashe Stadium. A new report has provided an update on AEW Grand Slam 3 in New York City. Since 2021, All Elite Wrestling has presented the Grand Slam events at Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, New York. The event has seen some of the biggest matches and moments in company history, such as Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson, and the debut of the aforementioned Saraya. After the success of the first 2 shows, many fans and pundits had wondered when the 2023 edition of the signature event would be announced. Per PW Insider, sources at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City confirmed AEW have a date booked in late September for Grand Slam 3. With many huge events already set for the company this summer, the date of Grand Slam 3 will most likely be announced sometime in the next couple of months. AEW will present their first show in the United Kingdom on August 27, titled AEW Allin, from Wembley Stadium in London, England. Of course, prior to that, you've got Forbidden Door as well. You've also got All Out. There's so much going on in AEW this summer, but there is going to be another Grand Slam show in September. Now, there had been a story about Rush's recent absence from AEW TV, that it was due to visa issues, but now he's actually commented saying that's not the case. Rush most recently wrestled for AEW on the May 24 Rampage taping, teaming with Dralistico and Preston Vance to face off against Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, and Billy Gunn. In the June 16 edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that Rush had been dealing with visa issues recently, writing, quote, "Rush has been out of action of late due to what was said to be fixing visa issues, similar to why Commander was gone for a few weeks recently and why Bandido, Penta, and Phoenix were gone at different times this year, plus a lot of the UK crew in NXT. But the Mexican star has now disputed this claim. After taking to Twitter to note that he will now go for the biggest goal of his career, Rush was asked about these reported visa issues by Jose the assistant. Rush replied, quote, "My visa has never had any issues. I have been living in the USA for a month now." Jose the assistant shared this and tagged Dave Meltzer in a tweet, which Rush retweeted. Rush recently cut ties with Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide, announcing that he and his father were leaving the promotion. Conan has since called out Rush and another AEW star, Bandido, claiming they're abusing their power. While Rush previously described himself as an independent talent, reports have indicated that it is believed that his AEW contract is up soon. As of this recording, Rush still has a profile on the official AEW roster page. So, denying what Dave Meltzer said. He's not the first in AEW to do that recently, certainly, as well. Finally, this is quite an interesting story. Tony Khan asked AI to actually write an episode of Dynamite. He didn't use it, and it didn't work out, but certainly it's an interesting story. AEW President Tony Khan has shared his thoughts on using AI when booking, revealing that he previously used the Chat GPT for a creative experiment. With recent advancements in technology, many people have been testing the capability of AI engines, both for leisure and in professional environments. While it is generally feared that companies may start to utilize AI to create content rather than real people, it has been proven that for several industries, modern-day AI isn't powerful enough to complete jobs as effectively as humans for now. Speaking with CNBC, Khan noted that he's experimented with using ChatGPT to book an episode of Dynamite, explaining why AI won't be taking over the AEW creative division anytime soon. Khan said, quote, "It's not insane. I've definitely messed around with ChatGPT and AI a decent amount. One thing about them is they take criticism and feedback very well. Because when I first messed around with ChatGPT and asked it about, okay, give me your best version of an AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, first of all, it had limited knowledge of world events since 2021. So its presentation of AEW for those people that have messed around with it, then you found out that it was really looking at AEW from a couple of years ago. So one thing was giving it an updated roster. Another thing I thought was interesting was asking to write a 10-segment wrestling show with 9 breaks that is 2 hours long. It's AEW Dynamite. I knew what that was and tried to format it out. I did the same thing that everybody does when they first get into wrestling, and really all us fans would do is try to put too much in versus what you can actually get done in a 2-hour show. I saw that ChatGPT, like a human being, was trying to stuff too much into the show. So long story short, I retrained it. It took the criticism very well and then came back with alternative ideas. It had some solid thoughts, honestly. I could see the merits of people utilizing it to check their work or come up with ideas, but it definitely has a limited knowledge of world events since 2021. so it's way behind. So what's interesting is Khan saying, well, I tried it and I coached it and it was limited, but it had some good ideas. So you never know. AI wrestling coming in the future. The world is a crazy place. But there you go, guys. It's the latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.